Hi Mixtresses and Mixters, this is Mixtress Ray and you're watching Mixtress Video, and we're here for something that no one asked for, yay! I've done this myself a couple of times. For me, the vibes that come through for both Shadowscapes Tarot and Darkwood Tarot are similar. It's like this is kind of the light side and this is the dark side. I feel like these two decks exist in the same universe for me. This is more like an air deck and this is an earth deck. This is kind of air and water, and this is earth and fire. It really is, actually. So these two decks are two of my very, very favorite decks. They both happen to also be done by the same publishing company, so they get to sit next to each other on the shelf, and they look great next to each other. So I'm going to do an unfair comparisons today. I'm not sure why I'm showing you the box situation. I guess just because I like the way that I do my Llewellyn boxes. So if you guys like it too, I mean, all I do is I take the little cardboard insert out that holds the cards, and then I put the book in the bottom, and then I put the cards in a bag that goes with the whole aesthetic. So this one's in a like moss green velvet bag. And then I've got my, when you order, I don't know if they still do this, because it's been years since I've ordered NYX products online, but when you order like NYX makeup products online, they send them in like these gorgeous black lace bags. I don't know if any of you guys do this, I scent my decks. Not always, but certain decks have certain scents. Like Shadowscapes, I spray with Lolita Lempicka perfume, which is like ivy and velvet and vetiver. It's a gorgeous. Let's see. I might want to actually pause this because both of these decks are very detailed. I want to be able to really get in there, so I might have to readjust my tripod. Okay, hold on. Okay. This is kind of an odd situation because my tripod is now like unstable. Okay, no, wait, hold on. Let me fix it. Okay, thank you guys so much for letting me do this shit all the time. Like, I have now compared Darkwood Tarot to like more decks than I've done any of these comparison videos with any of my decks. It's crazy. It truly is. Looking around right now, can I fit a candle in the frame if I move things over? Why would I not like work this shit out before I press record? I don't know. You guys know I'm a process queen. This is gonna be a hangout session for sure. You know how I do. Let's get started. Okay, let's get into it. So first of all, like both of these backs, I do wish that like something else was in the center instead of the DW on Darkwood Tarot. But this Shadowscapes deck back is everything. Okay. Oh, you guys, I've done this like myself, actually. Hold on, still fucking adjusting things. I want this to be perfect because obviously you guys are from the future, you can see how long this video is, but like, I kind of want to just spend some time hanging out today, so let's do it. Both of these decks are just like so beautiful to me. And again, this one's air and water, this one's fire and earth. Like, as far as like, I'm really into like the whole fantasy deck thing. It's really, I like mythological decks, fantasy decks. I like fantasy just in general. I want to be away from the real world. So hopefully we can escape the real world together today. Love both of these magicians too. They both have the roses and the lilies. They both have all the elements just represented in different ways. This one's in a more traditional way. We have like a Triskelion and the as above, so below. Sorry, this deck has a lot of like little like twinklies that I think are like dust or something. So if you see me like trying to wipe that away, that looks like something. You guys, okay. There was this incense that I burned recently that was like really sooty incense, and I didn't realize it while I was burning it. So you might see me like wiping off a little incense ash from that deck because I was using that deck at the time. I love the owl, you know, as sort of a symbol of knowledge in this High Priestess card, and the pomegranate. You know what? I kind of want to use like a pointing device of some kind in this video instead of using like my finger, so my finger doesn't get in the way of the artwork. So I'm going to use a little paintbrush. I'm slightly disappointed with Darkwood Empress. I mean, she's good. She looks like she's got her shit together, but I don't know. It's just not my favorite Empress card, whereas this one, I'm not even like, as far as like, I'm very color oriented, and like peach is not really my favorite color, but in this context, I love it because it's just so, I love how she's got these like long, pointy, crazy fingers. I love that she has like these energy lines coming out from her head, almost like she has like fairy antenna, which she does have fairy wings, so that would make sense. It's gorgeous. One of my favorite Empress cards in Shadowscapes, actually. Both of these Emperors are pretty gorge. He just looks so strong and stable. And he's got like a, I'm not sure I've ever noticed this. Like, I've had this Shadowscapes deck for like, I don't know, a year and a half. And I still notice details in it all the time. Like, I've never really noticed that he's got a dragon in his ball here, which is pretty cool. And this is not quite the same ring as the ring that's on the back of the cards. It's different. It's his own personal Emperor ring. Here's where it definitely makes sense that I'm comparing these two decks, right? Because this one was probably influenced by this one. I love the idea of a Hierophant being a tree. And all these different things rooted in the tree. All these symbols. And we have some of those symbols here too. Like, not literally the same symbols, but the same idea. Oh, I just noticed the keys have a D and a W. Not hugely in love with either of these Lovers cards, honestly. They're just too... They read to me as too traditional and heteronormative. I realize that, like, they may not be, but you know what I'm saying. I'm not super into either of these, but I do like that this Chariot card has a real Cancer vibe to it. You know, we have the crab, we have the water. It was hard for me at first when I was learning the astrological correspondences to the tarot cards. It was hard for me to see the Chariot card as being a Cancer card because like I didn't really see it as a very watery card. And like here, I mean, I'm totally cool with this imagery as being a Chariot card, except the just because I grew up in America and I have seen eagles get overused as like symbolism used by people that have unfounded patriotism. I'm triggered by seeing an eagle, which is obviously not Abigail Larson's fault, but I would have loved this image if it were like a crow or some other kind of bird, but that's just me. Or a vulture even. Would have been cool with a vulture. I love this strength card. I love the idea that like this almost feels like this deck in general feels like it's healing a lot of the imagery for me is healing of internalized misogyny in a lot of ways. And I see that represented in this card. Like she's facing off against Kundalini energy, against, you know, her own sexuality, her own fierceness. And that is kind of what the strength card is. This one, like most cards in Shadowscapes, there's a lot going on here. You know, like not only do you have the woman and the lion like you see in a lot of strength cards, but you also have these birds down here and this sort of like ceremonial vessel with the smoke coming up, and then these birds up here, and you've got this cat with a bell, and you've got the swan and this other cat over here. There's just a lot happening, which is fine. It's just as far as like using the Shadowscapes deck, I don't know about you guys if you have the Shadowscapes. I don't use it for spreads, and I don't get it out that often. It's more of like I'll pull like if I have a question and I'm doing like a little reading for myself, like it's a great like past, present, future deck because the imagery is just, there's so much to look at in just one card that like I don't really like to do like 10 card spreads or anything like that, and I don't really use this deck for clients. In fact, I got this deck out to use for a client last week, and it did not go well. I got the feeling that, and then I used a different deck, and it was a totally different vibe. So I really don't think that it was like the person that I was reading for. It was the fact that this deck did not want, either it did not want me to work with clients or it didn't want to work with such a big spread, which I do bigger spreads when I'm working with clients because I want to get as much information as possible to them, you know? Both of these are great for hermit cards. I almost just like don't even know what to say. I'm just looking at two of my favorite decks right now, guys. I do prefer this Justice card if I were picking a favorite from each deck. She's got the moon behind her. She's got her wings, one turned down and one turned up. She's got this feather, and she's got the scales and all the butterflies. And she does look blind because her eyes, I don't know if you can tell, but her eyes are open, but they're vacant. This one looks like a little too judgy for me. Like this reminds me of like the kind of Six of Pentacles card like in the RWS that I don't like. And I'm particularly picky about Justice cards since I have a lot of Libra in my chart. I don't know much about Norse mythology, but I know that this is like an Odin reference, Odin hanging from the tree, which is kind of what the traditional RWS, I think, is also a nod to that mythology as well. I love this one, though. My whole life is covered in dog hair. Just the bat energy. And then there's an actual bat. I love it so much. Obviously, I'm like probably saying the same things that I said in all of my comparison videos that I've done with Dark Wood. I've also done a lot of comparison videos with Shadowscapes as well, I think. I've never really I like the aspect of like a phoenix rising from the ashes. I like the concept of it being a death card, but this particular execution doesn't work for me for some reason. I'm not sure. Yeah, I love this though. So you've got the like sort of like anguished angel and the like, curious child that you have in the traditional RWS death card. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Again, not super into like death and temperance in Shadowscapes really do kind of go together. Like they're both in the same tree, it seems, even. But I don't really like either of them that much. I feel like there's something that I'm missing here. I mean, we have like this sort of like water dragon and fire dragon, which obviously, like water and fire, it's the alchemy aspect of temperance. Okay. Okay, I'm coming around on this card. I've just never like talked myself through it before. Okay. I get it. All right. And I love the maleficent energy you got here and the tower in the distance. So it's like, it's coming, bitch. It's coming. You're gonna have to confront that tower moment. Not sure how I feel about like this particular devil card. Not sure. I mean, this does kind of remind me of Tim Curry's character in Legend, which I'm totally fine with that. That is a devil to me. I really like this, though. The sort of like your heart is trapped in the devil's web. And you're trapped. But you have the key around your wrist, and all you have to do is reach down and unlock your entrapment. It'd be so easy. It's a very Eight of Swords moment here. And there's just so much happening. So much happening. I feel like I could like have like a 3-hour video on this. This video could be 3 hours. Hopefully it's not, but I like that like with this card you really get the feeling of like, I mean with both of these you do. But with this, there's just so much happening. There's so much down here. There's like all this forest happening. There are all these little branches here and there. You get the feeling that like not that much is destroyed here. There's so many other pieces of this house you could move to if you can't live at the very top anymore. Both good star cards. I love this sort of like this moment. You know, it looks like she's just gonna bathe. She's gonna bathe in this body of water here in the middle of the night. It looks like it's the middle of the night, and I like that because for me personally, like I don't really have those star moments unless it's the middle of the night. Like I'm not a daytime person. In fact, you know, any depression and anxiety I've dealt with in my life, it almost always, by the time nightfall hits, I'm fine. It's weird. I know that that's kind of the opposite for most people, but that's the way I am. Which is one of the reasons why a moon card, I don't ever like to see it negatively presented, because for me, night is salvation. You know, that Depeche Mode song, waiting for the night to fall, where everything is bearable. Sorry. I love both of these, but this one is everything to me. This sort of like fairy ring, standing inside the fairy ring, confronting your own mask, but you're still kind of wearing one. Heart on your sleeve, but you're holding it. You're guarding it. The forest behind. Oh, this is just... I need to get a hold of that Czech edition of the Shadowscapes that's like bigger. The cards are bigger. For some reason, I just like... I don't think I realized it till recently, but I don't really like sun cards where someone's riding on a horse. I don't know why. I think it's just because, like, most of the time when they're riding a horse, they're riding a horse naked. And I get the aspect of, like, the sun card. You are naked, bathing in the sun, and it's just pure joy. And I'm totally cool with that. But just, like, the thought of sitting on a horse naked, just, like, I feel it, and it feels wrong. I don't know. I don't know what that is. It's my own psyche bullshit. This one just seems too religious to me. A lot of judgment cards seem too religious to me. I like the, what are these, poppies? These look like poppies to me. I like the poppies, but I don't know, it just seems too religious. It's mostly the color scheme, the sort of like light blues and golds and everything. It's just like, I don't know. But this one, like I said many times before, is one of my very favorite judgment cards ever, because I just love the idea that, like, judgment is about being reborn into a new version of yourself. And that's what's happening here. She's about to become a vampire. These are both, I said before that, like, I really like to have exuberant world cards. Like, I really want to feel movement and joy and all the things. And I get that with both of these cards. Okay, I'm going to try to move a little bit faster, just so I don't have the longest video ever. But I'm a little, like, when it comes to the minor arcana cards in Shadowscapes, I almost wish they were a little less complicated. I'm pretty much all on board with most of the major arcana and the court cards in Shadowscapes, but sometimes I just wish Stephanie Pumanlaw would have, like, pulled back a little bit on some of the complexity in the minor, like the pip cards. Not always, but sometimes I get confused. There's a lot of lions or lion-like creatures. Obviously, this one has a funky horn, but it looks essentially like a lion. So I sometimes I just get confused. Sometimes I think, oh, is this the Knight of Wands? No. Is this the Strength card? No. Just sometimes I get confused because of how much complexity there is in all the minor. Love the witch energy here. This is like one of my favorite Two of Wands cards ever, probably. She's learning to kill now that she's been turned into a vampire. This one's gorgeous too. You've got this, like, you've got a little cairn here. Which, if you haven't heard that word, I guess not everybody probably knows that word. It's C-A-I-R-N. I think it's pronounced cairn, like Karen, but without the E. Whenever you see these little stacks of rocks, sometimes you'll see them in, like, on, like, trails and in national parks and stuff. It's called a cairn. I said before, don't really like the troll under the bridge situation happening here. And it's one of the only, there's probably like 4 cards in this deck that I just don't really like, and this is one of them. And I probably just need to, like, work with it, you know? Like maybe this is Frankenstein's monster, who is a very sympathetic figure. If you've ever actually read that book, he's very intelligent and you really feel for him a lot. He's really not evil. So maybe this is about, you know, his sort of inner sadness that he just kind of innately has. Maybe he needs to turn towards the light and celebrate what he does have. See, like this, I don't know why there has to be so many foxes in this card. Like, I would totally get the vibe if there were 5, you know? Just like how we have 5 little goblin-y guys here. I love this 5 of Wands. But this one just is a little much for me. And that's just, you know, obviously, that's my own bullshit. Everything I say in these videos is just my opinion. And most of the time it's because I'm reacting to my own like psychological things. I mean, that's why tarot works, because of that very thing, you know. I like that she's sort of standing up against the wraiths of the forest that are really just aspects of herself. I don't know, this feels almost like a dream moment, you know? And obviously here we have someone protecting their young. These both have similar energies, like sending the energy up, sending it out. And she's very relaxed. She's like, she's sending them up and she's going to let them do what they're going to do. And she's just going to chill. She's already done her job. This is one of the ones that's like, I can't with this guy. He bothers me a lot, and this is not the energy that I have. This is not the way that I interpret Nine of Wands at all. And this one confuses me sometimes. Like, to me, this looks a lot like the Knight of Wands. It just, you know, I see now, I think this might be the first time I've really noticed that there's all these other figures back here. So we actually do have 9 wands, probably. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yes. So I get that aspect of it, that this is just one person in this line of defense. So that makes sense in a 9 of Wands capacity, but this, like, what is happening? This is a horror movie. I don't like it. And I love horror movies, but I don't want that in my 9 of Wands. This one is kind of confusing to me a little bit. Like, how is this a 10 of Wands? I don't know. She definitely has it all taken care of. So it's just like a slightly different way to interpret it. I mean, she has it all taken care of too. I really love this, and how she's kind of masking how hard it is for her because she's wearing a mask. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 little orbs. She's supporting an entire structure. And if you think back to the Tower card, this almost looks like one of the little islands on the Tower card. I never thought about that before. Isn't it kind of, I mean, it's not the same, but it kind of looks like one of these little guys. Like maybe she's rebuilding one of these little islands as part of this big estate or whatever it is, this big kingdom. She's helping put it back together again. See, it's not the same. It's really not the same as the 9 of Wands. Now I got these all mixed up over here because I just went back to find the Tower. What did I do? What did I do? Where's the Nine of Wands? Really did mess them up. Here we go. It's not the same, but I do get them confused. Just for a second, and then I have to be like, okay, wait, and go look at the title. This is one of my very favorite Queen of Wands ever. I like that she's got some nice hips. She's got some very full round hips. You do not fuck with her. I like a Queen of Wands you don't fuck with. There's the cat, also important. This one is a little bit more, it's just too similar to the Page to me. So it's another one that, like, whenever I pull Queen or Page of Wands in this deck, still after having this deck for like a year and a half, I have to take a second. Okay, it's the one playing the violin, that's the Page. The Page has the violin and the Queen has the harp, but to me, she doesn't look commanding enough to be a Queen of Wands, but that's me being super nitpicky. I think all the aces and Shadowscapes are just, there's a little too much going on for me. This is probably my favorite Two of Cups ever. Full stop. Both of these are probably in my top 5 Three of Cups ever. I love the 3 cats here. And I just recently noticed that, like, these 3 little curls of hair here just to me looks like a triskelion, which is a very Three of Cups energy to me in general. I just love this so much. Like, sometimes when I pull this card, I just stare at it. You know, this is a very meditative deck. This is a very, like, you could really spend time just, like, I think people call it like path working, whenever you just sort of meditate on one card, where you can just really put yourself into the card and have a vision quest with that card. You can really do that with Shadowscapes. I like this as a 5 of Cups. I like that she is, even though she's sad, because I'm assuming that the goldfish being, like, up here at the top of this bowl means that this goldfish has passed. But you've got all of these spirits, all of these water spirits, water sprites or water fairies or whatever, coming to her aid. And you've got all of these air spirits and fairies up in the air that are coming to her aid. She is surrounded by love. They're pulling her hair back. And it's just, I like the thought of, like, whenever you're deep in grief, you can remind yourself that, you know, you're always surrounded by love. These invisible beings, like, whether you really believe they're there or not, it's comforting to tell yourself that they are. Either way, it still has, it has the placebo effect, which is just as important as the actual effect, you know? I love all the animal energy too in Darkwood Tarot. And same thing here. You get, she is probably the only creature that's actually here, you know? And all of these other spirits are in her imagination, or they're invisible to the naked eye. You just sort of get this super supportive feeling. I don't know, or I do anyway. I love that, like, the cups are mirrored by the bats. I like that this is a Saturn card, I'm pretty sure, and I like that you can see the reflection in, like, the waves of the water of Saturn up here. And this sort of idea that she's taken this cup with her and she's going to the depths. She's leaving these others behind, but she's taking this one. And she's going on a journey. I also really love this one. The sort of idea of, like, weaving through the cups. It could kind of be a way of, like, saying goodbye to them for the last time, touching them one last time as you go, or maybe in this process you're deciding which things you want to take with you. Not super into either of these as a Nine of Cups. I do like the concept of this. Like, your cat is bringing you what it thinks is going to grant all of your wishes, even though you do not want that dead bird. But the cat is giving you what is to them a Nine of Cups moment. I love this so much. Family of Wolves. This one just kind of bugs me. I mean, I like it as an image, and it is a Ten of Cups feeling for sure. But it's just my own, like, I don't like to see just a heteronormative looking couple in all of the cards, such as Two of Cups, Ten of Cups, Lovers, those kinds of cards, like family type cards. I would have rather seen, especially in a Ten of Cups, I like to see, like, I don't know, weird family structures. I mean, I guess wolves aren't really a weird family structure, but I think for me personally, because I'm so animal oriented, I would rather see animals in the Ten of Cups. But again, that's just me being, like, unnecessarily picky. I love both of these, but this one is everything. Just the mermaid as Page of Cups. In my mind, like, this is pretty much the ultimate Page of Cups card. I'm kind of picky about Knight of Cups cards because that's my Michael's card. It's a Pisces card, and neither of these really work for my personal interpretation of Knight of Cups. The reason here, I think, is just because I want to have an emotional reaction when I look at the Knight of Cups. And you can't really, I don't know, I can't really see his expression, so I can't interpret an emotional reaction. And with this dude, I don't trust him, and I want to trust my Knight of Cups. I do not trust that guy. Not sure what to say about, like, both of these Queen of Cups are not really what I want, but the energy here is wonderful. I like this King of Cups a lot. I like that, like, he's sort of like rooted in all of this seaweed, kind of hanging out with the turtles and the seahorsey, and he's got his cup. All the energy is everything here. And I like that the seaweed is kind of like obfuscating his lower half. So, like, if you want him to be a mermaid, maybe he is. That sort of maybe he's a mermaid energy is, I'm all over it. Yes. A lot of swans in the swords in this suit. Or in this deck. Got more of that, like, schmutz. Yeah. I had to throw away that incense because I'm like, no, I am not dealing with a bunch of, like, ash, like, floating up into the air and then falling back down on my cards. Like, nope, not for me. Which is sad because it was cotton candy smelling incense and it was kind of cool. Both of these are really, really good. I like the presence of the spider here because it reminds me of Kali, the goddess. I don't know where I read this, but I read somewhere that if you see spiders, it's the presence of Kali in your life. And I like the idea of, like, Three of Swords is very much a cutting out of the things. I mean, you've got the black blood bleeding out the bottom here. It's very much about cutting out things that you don't need in your life anymore. And this presence of a spider could, for me, I mean, it could be for you if you want to think of it that way too, is a presence of Kali. Like, Kali is helping you cut out what you don't need anymore. I still don't really get this as a Five of Swords. But this, I can really work with this. The idea that this, again, is that concept of internalized misogyny to me. Seeing what appears to be a woman abusing another woman, torturing another woman, is, to me, this just speaks loudly of internalized misogyny. And within the context of Five of Swords, it's not something I necessarily attributed to Five of Swords energy before, but that works for me. It really, really does. This one still just kind of confuses me. Like, is she rescuing this child from this person? Maybe she's taking her away temporarily for her own good. Like, maybe this chick needs to work some shit out. Maybe she's got some alcoholism problems, and even though she really loves her child, this is the social worker that really has the best interests of this child at heart, and she needs to take her away, and that's going to spark what this person needs to get their shit together, and then she can reunite with her baby. Maybe by the time, I mean, this baby is very young. Maybe if she gets her shit worked out in the next year or two, the baby's never even going to remember that her mom wasn't a part of her life in the very beginning. Okay, see, I just talked myself into that. I love both of these. This one, I think I've said before, this one reminds me of a particular situation in my life because this person looks kind of like a person that betrayed me, and it was like a big betrayal moment in my life. So this is just like I have an emotional reaction to it. I just spit on the cards. That's why you wear masks, people. And this is just very Red Riding Hood. She's taken her power back from the wolf. She's going to outsmart him this time. So very different interpretations of Seven of Swords, but hey, I can work with it. I really love this one. I love rats. Rats make me happy. And the vulture. Like, is the vulture going to help her? Or did the vulture... Is the vulture going to tighten the noose? Or is the vulture going to, like, rip open the ropes there so that she can get free? This is a little bit more difficult of an Eight of Swords situation, though. Like, I mean, you can see that she can probably get out of this, but it'll be slightly harder. It's like she kind of needs the help of her animal friends. This one sort of confuses me. I think it just confuses me because there's so much happening. Like, what's up with this creature up here that is made of thorns? What's up with the hummingbird? I don't know. I don't know what's happening. It's too much. Overstimulated. I really like this Nine of Swords. I get a lot from this imagery. Like the fact that we have 8 swords tattooed on this person's chest. And then the 9th sword is the battle that hasn't been won yet. So I feel like this person's about to fight this 9th and final battle. And they're sort of looking to the future. They're sort of looking up into the abyss. They're going to have to go into that abyss to fight. But they have the resources that they need. They have the sword, they have the wings, so they can get to where they need to go to fight that final battle. And they have the weapon that they need. And you can just see that as soon as they overcome this final thing, they can get that last sword tattooed on their chest, and then they can put this one away for good. I don't know. I like that. That's sort of like, I like seeing 9s as being, you're almost there. So with 9 of Swords, I don't love the traditional imagery of just like total anxiety and agony. Like, I like this because it's kind of subverting it. Like, yeah, there's a lot of anxiety in like going in to fight that final mental battle, but this is a good reminder that you've already been through so much. You've already overcome so much. So what you have left isn't as daunting as it may feel. I love both of these because I've said it a bunch of times, but like for me, 10 of Swords, I want to see hope, and I get that with both of these. Like this is an assault. This isn't like a wonderful situation, and she's kind of bleeding out, but she also looks so elegant. Like, you just know that she's going to land on her feet. You just know that she can get through it. And she looks like she's floating. I think we're supposed to think that she's kind of like laying on these rocks here, but I see her as floating. So, which to me is like, I feel like this is the moment right before she pulls this sword out. And then once she pulls that one out, she's going to pull all of them out. And then she's just going to kind of gently, I don't know, float, like rotate upright, and then just walk away. You know, I just see that. I just see it happening. With both of these, I can see the moment after, you know, in my mind, where she's going to, both of these figures are going to land gracefully and then walk away from this situation. I love the nurturing aspect here. You don't normally get that in a page, especially the Page of Swords. But I like that she's just sort of, she's one with her swan friends. Both great Queen of Swords. This one's one of my very favorites. I think it might be my favorite Queen of Swords card. I love the energy coming out of her hands. And the fact that her sword is kind of like a sickle. And it's decorated, so it's like she probably doesn't need to use it. I like him. Not sure why we gotta have, like, the Da Vinci dude right here, but okay. I like the energy coming off the wings, like turning into crows. And again, I like seeing in both the Queen and King of Swords that, like, they have their sword, but they don't necessarily need to use it. They're ready to use it if they have to, but they're very casual about, like, they're not going to reach for the sword too quickly, you know? So you get that with a downturned sword, I think. And you also get it here because you've got the owl just sort of perched on top of the sword, which means he's holding it very steady, and the owl is confident enough that he's not going to need to move it. So she's perched on it, you know? This is one of my very favorite Ace of Pentacles ever. You know, I said in a recent video that one of my deck deterrents was monkeys in a deck. The exception to that is Shadowscapes. I don't think this is the only time we see a monkey in Shadowscapes, but every time you see a monkey in Shadowscapes, it is depicted in a way that is not personally triggering to me in my monkey fear. I don't know, it's the cute version of monkeys that Stephanie Pumanlaw puts in her deck. I love both of these for totally different reasons, because obviously, like, loving this one is loving simplicity and loving this one is not, but these two people, for some reason, I don't know why, but they remind me of me and my Michael. Like, we don't look like that at all, but it just reminds me of us. So this one makes me happy. This is one of my favorite Five of Pentacles ever. It has similar energy to the Devil card, where, like, she could easily, all she'd have to do is look up and see this little beacon of hope right here, you know? And the fact that we have, like, the stained glass window situation, but we have 4 pentacles here. The 5th one it's just the 5th one. It's only the 5th one that's all, like, dark and colorless and cracked. There's still so much more up here. You just have to look up. Don't really like either of these. This is probably my least favorite card in this deck. I love both of these. This is one of my very favorite Seven of Pentacles. I love her tattoos. And her face is so pretty. And I like this too, because this is like the sleeping with the zucchini situation in Gilmore Girls. It makes me think of that. Jackson sleeping with the zucchini. Was it zucchini? Somebody let me know in a comment on when I mentioned that in a different video. And now I'm like, what? Was it zucchini? I think it was zucchini. Love seeing a spider in the Eight of Pentacles. I have a few decks that have a spider in the Eight of Pentacles. This one doesn't really do it for me as a Nine of Pentacles. Stephanie Pumanlaw, for whatever reason, the nines don't work for me. The Nine of Wands didn't. The Nine of Cups didn't. Nine of Swords did. But Nine of Pentacles, no. I'm just not sure I get the connection here. Just for me, personally. I do really like this one. I'm missing some animal energy here. I mean, I get that, like, she's the bird of prey, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with that. And we do have a little snail down here. But I'd like to see more animal energy in a Nine of Pentacles. Both of these are pretty good, but I mean, if I were going to pick a favorite, it would be this one. Because even though, like, this is a pretty monochromatic card, there's so much happening. Like, there's a cat and her kitten. There's a raven here. There's a couple of spiders. There's another raven here. So there's two of everything. So you got two ravens, two cats. You've got the two spiders. You've got the two bats. And I feel like since this is a 10, like, are there two other creatures that I'm not seeing in this card? Because you got 2, 4, 6, 8. Obviously, you got the 10 pentacles, but maybe there's two other creatures I'm not seeing. Maybe they're inside the tree. Maybe they're invisible because they've passed on. Because I do think of 10 of Pentacles as being like an ancestry kind of card. I like both of these. She kind of, like, in her face sort of reminds me of Willow from Buffy. And I do think of Buffy or Willow as a very Page of Pentacles character. She's a student. And I like that her dress is like a tree. And she reminds me, I don't know, tell me if you guys see it. Like, her face structure, she just, to me, she looks like a melanated version of Fiona Apple. I like him. He's my favorite knight in Darkwood. He's like the only knight I think I would trust in this deck. Both of these decks have, like, total tree people energy in both the Queen and the King of Pentacles. And this is, I love that the rabbit's still here, like you get in the RWS Queen of Pentacles. You know I love my animal familiars being present, especially in the court cards. But I especially love that she is just like, she's so poison ivy to me. I love it so much. And I really like this one too. She's got this, like, heart chakra energy thing happening. She's great. I don't want to take away from her, but this is one of my favorite cards in this deck. And these two dudes could be friends, you know? They really could. Such a, like, peaceful Viking happiness face situation. I don't know. Peaceful Viking happiness face situation. Okay, let's end it on that. Peaceful Viking happiness face situation. I hope that you guys are good. I hope you're having your own version of a peaceful Viking happy face situation. Oh, thank you guys for hanging out and being a part of this journey. I've actually had these 2 decks in order ready to do this video for days now, and that's not like me. Usually as soon as I put them in order, I sit down and press record. But so now I am free to use these decks. I'm probably going to use Darkwood Tarot this week, just because I basically can't get away from it right now. It's just the only deck I want to use. I keep coming back to it. When usually I use a different deck every week, and I kind of like keep it pretty varied. Yes, so now that I've done this video with you guys, I can go ahead and shuffle my Darkwood Tarot again. So thank you for being here for this. You guys are the best. I hope that you have a great week. I'm planning to do, I don't work on Halloween, but I don't plan to probably do anything since, you know, pandemic, but I do still want to dress up, so I might actually use the opportunity, and it's going to be a full moon, so I'm thinking about doing, let me know what you guys think about this, like what kind of video you want me to do on Halloween, because I want to dress up and show you guys my face, which I don't do very often, and I'm not sure, you know, should it be just kind of like a casual like VR hangout thing? Do you want it to be like a tarot reading? I don't know. I've got a new Oracle deck. I could show you that. That's the Seasons of the Witch Samhain edition, so I could just show that off or something. Let me know if you have ideas of, I was thinking I could even like do like a little ASMR spell tarot reading type video. I don't know. I want to wear my new corset and show you guys. I got my very first overbust corset. It is purple and it is gorgeous. So I want to dress up for Halloween and do a video for you guys, but I just don't know what kind of video. So if you have any ideas about that, leave a comment. I'll probably be filming that video on Friday the 30th. Yeah, most likely that'll be when I film it. So let me know if you guys have ideas about what you want me to do, and I will see you in the next one.